The Grey Man, aka Netflix's biggest budget movie with all the stars and all the actions and all the locations with a tag of $200 million. Now, was it worth it? Well, let's find out. Yo, what's up? Welcome to the channel. This is GVNNaija, where we review movies, series, comics, animations, and video games. It is Grey Man today. Grey Man has been directed by the Russo brothers, screenplay by Joe Russo, one of the brothers. And if you remember the Russo brothers, quick reminder, if you don't, these are the guys that give us epic stuff like Captain America, Winter Soldier, which to me is still MCU's best movie, full stop. Infinity War is the only thing dragging with it, and guess who directed it to? The duo. So when I first saw the trailer, this was like I think 2 months ago, I was really hyped. The story looked fun. It looked like this one is plenty action, like action pop, yo go go. That was what they were promising to give us, and did it deliver? Honestly, it did. So here's the thing. There's a Sierra program. I've seen in the trailer also. The definition is more like the Suicide Squad, but outside of the DC. That kind of situation. This is like more grounded in the real world without superheroes and stuff, because these are people whose lives are pretty much gone, and then they are being used for programs in the CIA, that kind of stuff. I mean, we've read this story before, so when you hear something like this, you're like, okay, or is this some sort of Jason Bond thing or one other super secret spy thing? No. See, combine 007, Jason Bond, and any other super secret spy type stuff without the spy craftiness, but more of the action and the badassery, and this is what you get in The Grey Man. It stars a lot of characters, it's star-studded. So we've got Ryan Gosling, who plays Six. We've got Chris Evans playing Lloyd Hansen, Regé-Jean Page as Danny Carmichael, and then Ana de Armas also comes in. So here's the thing about Ana de Armas that I have really liked over the period of time. I think with the right script and the right direction, she can actually helm an action movie on her own, solo. Because she did so well in 007, just a brief scene. And then in this movie, in every scene that she was in, she actually brought it. So it wasn't like she was faking anything, nah. She was bringing it, and she was doing the action scenes. And speaking of the action scenes, this is something that this movie definitely delivers on. So when you have the action, lots of action, dope action, arguably, or not, without a nice story, there most times isn't stuff to connect you, the viewer, to what is happening on screen. Yes, you'll probably remember some set pieces, right? But then you will not be that invested in the story. It might even be a kind of movie that you are watching and you're pressing your phone. But no, the reason for conflict in this movie is clear from the beginning of the first act. I mean, there's a line that Ryan Gosling's character, Six, mentioned when he was in a fight with another agent, and was like, I am Sierra, there is no intel. But then that's the thing. That was the reason for conflict, because the fact that there is some sort of intel, or there is someone that knows about his existence and is telling him stuff that he should not know, that was just enough reason to just pull me in. And speaking of dialogues, there was another dialogue in the movie where there was a conversation between Ryan Gosling's character Six and Regé-Jean Page's character, and then it was over the phone, and then it was like, who was he? He said, bad guy. What was he carrying? Bad shit. And that was funny. And speaking of funny stuff, this movie is a movie that it does not set out to be comical, but then the funny moments will make you laugh. They will crack you up. I'm not going to give away any spoilers yet, because this is a fresh movie. But for those of you that have watched the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. When there was a scene in a park, in a sort of courtyard situation where lots of action, guns flying, everything. Everybody was meant to pay full attention to what was happening on the screen, because it was like a life or death situation. And then in it, something very funny happened, and it just made me crack up. So that's the thing. It's very organic. The action, the story, the comedy, everything about it is so much fun. The actors, again, like, one thing I've always liked about Chris Evans is this: he embodies every role. So even when it was the height of his MCU career, I didn't just see him as Captain America. I saw him as Chris Evans playing Captain America. You understand? Unlike some people that they will have to do so much to break out of a role. If you remember, and if you guys don't remember, it was Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four, and did such an amazing job as Johnny Storm. He's even done some parody comedy type stuff in the past, and he did really well. He was a very funny guy. So him playing the antagonist in this movie, he embodied that role so well. Like, it was just so natural to him, and he did. And you know, the truth is this: for any movie or anything you are watching that involves a good guy and a bad guy, protagonist and antagonist, for it to be dope, the antagonist has to be that great. That's why I always reference Infinity War, because of Thanos. The antagonist, played by him, Chris Evans, was just so good. So he did such a great job executing the character that, I'd really love to see him do. I'm looking forward to seeing him doing the next best thing, whatever it is that he wants to do. I'm looking forward to watching it. Another pro for the movie is the dope flashback sequence. See, there wasn't a single scene or a single action in this movie that felt irrelevant to me. And I'm not kidding. There's a flashback sequence in the movie, and when you guys watch it, you will get more context to what the story is and what drives the different characters in this movie. There is also one other thing. I mentioned it in a previous review for Ambulance. You can check that up here. About FPV drones, that's first-person view drones. A first-person view drone was used in this movie, but see, it was used so well that when I was watching, I was like, that is how you do it. That is how you use an FPV drone. Honestly, it did not feel. There was a particular scene where, because this was shot across multiple locations, and I believe that also added to the budget of 200 million. We've got Croatia, we've got so many other locations all over Germany, so many places. So when you see a particular scene and the way it ties into another scene, it felt so deliberate in this movie. The use of the FPV drone in this movie was just so brilliant. So if you want to see a great example of an FPV drone in use, do not watch Ambulance, watch The Grey Man. That's another pro for this movie. It was just that good. There was also another scene in an airplane where Ryan Gosling's character was fighting, right? And honestly, the action sequence was so good that I was just like, See, as promised in the trailer, there were a lot of action sequences, whether it's in a plane, it's in a tram, it's on the streets, it's in a building, wherever it is that you saw action in the trailer, they definitely brought it in the movie itself. Nothing felt cheapened, nothing felt weak, nothing felt half-assed. They did it. And the finale, now speaking of the finale, see, I like it when a good story comes to a dope ending. And that was what they did in this finale. I love finales that don't disappoint. And this one doesn't. It's such a beautiful sight to behold when two men approach each other with intent. I'm not talking gay intent. I'm talking let's break each other's mouth intent. Let's know who is the real apex predator situation. And that is what happens between Six and Lloyd, played by Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans. It was so dope to watch. You could tell that these two men are specialists in their own field. There is one who is dirty. There is one who might be honorable, but then he knows how to end a life. Oh, and speaking of being honorable, there's a character, I think it's called the Lone Wolf, played by Danush in real life. Danush's character was also really nice. I guess his line felt a bit like a cop-out, but I guess there are still honorable assassins or honorable hitmen or something like that, because that was the situation. There was a scene in the movie where, even though he had already just kicked ass and done all those other things, he made a statement that was like, these are not honorable men. And in my mind, I'm like, anybody who hires you to kill someone else, is that person honorable? I guess you can make a case for situations where some people need to die for the greater good, but dude, you're a killer. But yeah, honorable killer. That's what Danush played, the Lone Wolf. But it was so much fun to see him act. It was so much fun to see the entire team act. Billy Bob Thornton was also so dope to watch. See, everybody that was casted and acted in this movie did so with intent. Even one of the Russo brothers, he has this habit of appearing in his movies. He did the same thing in Endgame. He also appeared in this movie, so he did like a sort of cameo thing as a boss. I think it was nice to watch. I mean, you will know him, you know he's the director, so he just did his whole thing with the line. It was just one scene. It was cute, it was nice, it was a fun watch. This movie had strengths in every department and is one that I truly do recommend for you guys to watch. Now, here's the thing. So there is a question which I think ties into a sequel for this movie, and that's one thing about this movie that I also did like. I feel it has every possibility to have a sequel, but that sequel doesn't feel forced because there is some sort of shadow government thing at play right now in the premise of this movie, and there is some backing from higher powers and higher authorities which has not been fully addressed. It's been alluded to, but it hasn't been fully addressed yet. So maybe sometime in the future we will see that there are plans for a script for a second part. Honestly, I'm not going to feel like these guys are being greedy and they want to push it. No, it is worth it. It has been earned because it's been set up perfectly and beautifully. Overall, what do I think about this movie? It was dope. It was a great watch. It was worth my time. This is a movie that if I had gone to the cinema to watch, I would have absolutely loved. I think it was in the cinema for a limited time, so it's only made about 200 and something thousand in cinemas to a budget of 200 million. You know, normally if it was just for theatrical release, you would think that's a loss, that's a fail. But since it's straight to Netflix, it's going to make all its money there. I think it deserves it. I think Netflix has done well with this one. I'm glad and I'm happy for them that the money that they spent has borne fruit, because this is really good fruit. This is one that is going to be worth it even for the next couple of years. The Grey Man on Netflix gets a rating of 9/10. It was such an amazing watch. I absolutely loved it. If I had gone to the cinema to watch it, I know I would have had that much fun. I definitely recommend it to you guys. So if you haven't seen it, check it out for yourself this weekend if that's when you're watching this review, or sometime in the future. But check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But if you have, what do you think about the movie? Did you like it as much as, well, I loved it? So did you love it too, or do you just like it? Was it a yay for you or a nay for you? Let us know down in the comment section down below. I said down and I said down. But it's fine. Don't forget to check out this video or this video next. If you liked our content, feel free to share, like, and subscribe. It's been Tech for GVN. Live long and prosper.